The idea of being stuck in tutorial hell is really common, especially amongst new developers. And it's something where if you're stuck in this cycle, it can feel like you're stuck in it forever with no real way of how to actually escape. So in this video, I want to cover 3 separate things. I want to cover first, how to tell if you're actually stuck in tutorial hell, so like what are the signs. I want to cover why people get stuck in this. And then finally at the end, I want to cover a few really simple, straightforward ways upon which you can escape and hopefully progress your programming career. So firstly, the idea of tutorial hell is the idea that you're not really ever developing in your programming career. You're not really building your own projects and moving forward. It's the idea that you're maybe stuck doing maybe a programming course over here, then maybe you go into some YouTube tutorials, maybe you buy some books. So you're basically just following tutorials forever and ever, and you're stuck in this endless loop of learning without actually learning. That's the idea of tutorial hell. And it's something where if you go on like various Python Reddit posts or just programming Reddit threads, etc., you see a lot of people talking about being stuck in this place, and it's not particularly nice. It's something I was probably stuck in maybe my first like 1 or 2 years of Python, and then finally escaping it feels quite nice, feels quite liberating, to be honest. So I want to cover a few of the telltale signs that this might be you. So if any of these sound like you, this might be a sign that you're stuck in this so-called tutorial hell. The first one is you can follow a tutorial step by step, but then maybe when you then switch off that code and maybe try and do it by yourself, you find this difficult to do. So maybe like you can do it whilst you're watching the tutorial and it's good, but then you come back to it a minute later, you try and do it and it's not really there. That's a sign that it's not really sunk in, so the actual learning hasn't happened, but you can do it right there and then when there's a prompt. So it's like it's a sign that you're retaining very little from the things you're actually learning. So the learning isn't very productive, it's not very powerful. You're effectively just like copying what you see on the screen. It's all good there and then, but like a week later, there's no chance of actually trying to replicate it, so not ideal. Another one is copying code without fully understanding what it does. So a lot of tutorials will give you like a big batch of codes to go and copy, run, and then maybe you've then got to try and modify the code and make it do something else or try and fix a bug. If you find yourself just copying big batches of code, putting it into your editor and running it, and not really going through bit by bit and examining the different keywords or examining what a loop does or why this loop breaks, that's not an ideal sign. It's basically showing that you're kind of just running code in the hope that it works without really taking the time and effort to understand why it's working or why it's breaking or why it's inefficient or efficient in some cases. And the last sign, which I think is quite true, is you basically do one tutorial and then jump to the next one thinking, okay, maybe this will be the one that finally does the trick and sets me up. So you might do like a certain course on YouTube, finish it, and then jump to like paying for a course somewhere else thinking, right, this is going to be the one, only for it to repeat over and over again. So those are my signs. I'm sure there is plenty more. If you've got your own signs, feel free to let me know. But if any of those sound like they're you, then you could be in this place that people describe as tutorial hell. And personally, from my point of view, I think there's 3 reasons why this happens. I think the first one is that it puts you in quite a comfortable place. If you're following a tutorial through, you can see this nice scheme of work. It gives you nice structure, so it's quite simple and straightforward to follow. Basically having your hand held through the entire process, I mean this includes me as well, it can be quite a comfortable place to be. It gives you structure, gives you something to look forward to. You can see what you've done, you can see what's up next. Whereas not following tutorials and just trying to go off and make something happen in code, not as comfortable and quite a lot more daunting. Another reason why I think it happens is that it can feel very productive to be like hammering out lots and lots of code and copying lots of code and writing it. But from my point of view, I feel like that's quite passive learning. You're not really actually having to, in some cases, not true in all cases, but you're not really having to think an awful lot, where if you're just copying code and maybe changing a few different variables, there's not a whole lot of powerful, deep learning going on there. Copying some code and changing some little bits, I think can be quite passive. Of course, there are some great courses out there, but a lot of learning in that style, I think, can be quite passive, and it's not as powerful as going off and doing big projects from scratch by yourself. And the last one is either fear of making mistakes or like not knowing where to start. I think when you're given, say, maybe like a full 10-hour course, you can basically say to yourself, right, here's the next 10 hours sorted. I know exactly what's coming up and I've got all this to look forward to. Whereas if you want to go off and then like build your own project, what are the next 10 hours going to look like? It's quite difficult to say, especially as a new programmer. Like maybe you want to go, okay, I want to build a game, like I want to build some kind of maths quiz and make it run as an executable and have people play it via the command line. I mean, like, where the hell do you start on that one? So I feel like that's one of the possible reasons. I think the tutorials give you a clear structure, like, you're going to start here, you're going to finish here. Building your own projects doesn't really have that same structure. Like, this plan of how to get from A to B is largely up to you, with no one really telling you along the way. So finally, how do you escape this tutorial hell and get out that endless feedback loop of just doing tutorials and hoping to get better? So I think the first one is not telling you like what to do, but is accepting a little bit of struggle along the way. This is certainly something I've not really done particularly well in the past, but with tutorials, you can kind of get a few goes at running a question through. It'll tell you what's wrong. When you come to do your own projects, there's going to be times when your code doesn't work, you don't know why it doesn't work, and you don't really know where to find help from that. That's completely okay. Even now, after coding for like more than 12, 13 years, I still have those times where I run some code, I don't really know what's going wrong. Sometimes I just have to like walk off for a bit, come back a bit later, and it's kind of like set through in my head. Oh yeah, I know what's wrong now. It's going to be this. So that struggle is absolutely natural. It's essential. And if you can accept that it's going to be there right from the very beginning, then I think it puts you in a much better place to learn successfully and then generally have a better, more sustainable programming career. So with the mental stuff aside, things you can actually do, I would personally pick a really, really tiny coding project. So maybe go on ChatGPT, ask it to give you 5 really simple coding projects, pick one that you like, and then just try and make that your first thing to do. You can use things like Stack Overflow or ChatGPT if you're really, really, really stuck, but I would heavily recommend picking one little program and just trying to do it. So maybe your first program could be something like, let's get a giant text file. It could be like, a couple of megabytes or whatever, find a massive one. And maybe it could be, I want to build a program to find what's the word that appears the most times in this given text file and how many times does it appear. It could be something as simple as that, but that first little program is then going to give you the confidence to then go on to your second program and your third and your fourth. As long as your first program isn't something that's going to be like destined to fail, and then guess what, you're then back doing tutorials again, make it so it's, this is quite a tricky thing to do, make it so it's on the cusp of being not too easy, not too hard, make it like slap bang in the middle, so you at least struggle a little bit to get this project done. Once that project's done, go through and document, if you're writing line by line, this for loop is doing this, and it's doing this for this reason, or like, I'm building this function because I want to put this code here. The benefit of this code being in a function is X, Y, Z. It can seem a bit tedious, but writing your own code from scratch and then going through with like a fine-tooth comb and saying, I know exactly what every bit of this code is doing and why. And then maybe come back to it later. Okay, what can be made better? Suppose you learn some object orientation, maybe going back and try and implement that in your first project. There's loads of ways you can have these projects saved in like a nice folder, make them all organized, and then come back and make them better and better over time. The next thing I'd recommend doing is avoid looking things up online only when they're absolutely necessary. And this comes on to the bigger debate of like, should I use ChatGPT for everything? I use it a fair amount of the time, but one thing I'll always try and do is I'll normally give myself like a minute or two to try and really suss it out first. But if it's something like a logical problem, I generally try and not use it altogether. I think when it's like, okay, there's a method that I know exists upon this object, I just need to know what that method's called. I think like they're okay to look up, they're absolutely fine. But if it's something like a little logical puzzle where, if you were to spend 10 minutes looking at it, you could do it. Those are the bits I think when the learning happens, because like that same problem could just appear somewhere else later on in a different form, and you've already got the mental skills there to solve it. So limit the amount of times or limit the amount of things you try and look up online if you can absolutely help it. That basically takes away the dependence on you relying on, in the past, a tutorial or relying on something online to try and help you through it. It's going to make you more independent and more robust as a programmer. And the last thing I'd recommend to escaping from your tutorial hell sounds really simple. Just don't do the tutorials. I think I I would if they're quite specific on a specific part of Python you want to learn. I mean, I sell my own courses. I do like a basic one, a functional one, an OOP one. I, of course, recommend those courses alongside proper learning and proper building of projects. So it's a bit of a balance. I think if you're quite new, the basic courses are fine. Like, they're good to then go and do. Of course, I'd recommend my own because I'm biased, obviously. But I would recommend as quickly as possible, get onto coding something that is your own project, something that you can put your name on. And suppose if you're maybe a few months in or a year in, the only tutorials you should really be doing are like quite specific bits of Python that you maybe then want to go and learn. So these could be like building APIs or learning a bit of machine learning. Those can be really helpful to like learn the actual skills. As soon as you're done, take those skills, build new projects, and then develop from there. So guys, those are my general tips on how to escape the tutorial hell. If this is something that you think you've been stuck in the past, or you've got certain ways or methods that you've used to escape it, feel free to comment, let me know. I always love a good discussion in the comments. Cheers for watching, guys, and see you all in the next video.